Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're hearing me from. I want to quickly talk about the rise of the church in Africa, especially in Nigeria as a case study. Now, we see churches springing up from every corner of Nigeria. Every corner. Statistics shows that only in Lagos State, we have over 50,000 churches, only in the city of Lagos. Okay. And then I've not talked about other cities like Abuja, Port Harcourt, Bayelsa, Ibadan. We're not talking about them. And every single day, churches are rising. We have every corner of Nigeria that you go, you see churches. Now, the question is, why are the churches rising in that number and in that mass production? Many people think that Nigeria is a Christian nation, yes, and that the crusades upon crusade every day, they think and they thought that those crusades are geared towards winning souls. But let me bust your bubble. The essence of crusades in Nigeria, not geared towards soul winning. Not geared towards soul winning. The basic reason for all the crusades and the reason why churches are springing up from every corner of Nigeria, the only reason is for money. If you take the money factor out of Christianity today, you will see that 80% of the churches that we see will close down because they are never there because of souls. They are there because of the money. Christianity in Africa, and especially in Nigeria, where I come from, has become a lucrative business. Church opening has become a lucrative business, and that's why everybody, even native doctors, witchcrafts, occultic people, are now opening churches. In fact, it is very sad to say that native doctors has come openly to declare themselves prophets. We see a lot of prophets in Nigeria that don't even know one word of God, but they are prophets because they can do some kind of wonders and signs before their congregation. I don't want to be calling him because if I call him now, you wonder, is this man also a prophet or is this man also a child of God? You wonder. But today, because of the uncontrolled, unguided, a corrupt system of this country, we see people growing up from every corner in the name of pastors, and then sorry to say that we have native doctors in the pulpit. They only call the name of God to gather people. And one thing I find out in this country is that as long as you can sow a sign, regardless of where it's coming from, you will have the crowd. As long as you can sow a sign, one sign, or you can decide to tell people what you saw spiritually, you will have the crowd. The more crowd you have, the more money you have. That is why they drive for alleged pastors in this country is to gather the crowd, because the more crowd you gather, the more money you have. So the church is rising on every corner, not because they want to win soul, but because they want to generate money for themselves. Because the fastest way in Nigeria to make money is to get involved into church business. Once you're involved in church business, trust me, within the space of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, 5 years, you became a millionaire. Because it's like we have more deceived people in this country than people that are wise. Anybody can deceive anybody in the name of church. Once you hear church, people are deceived. They think that is godliness, but that's not godliness. That's why we have thousands of churches scattered over Nigeria and without results. Let me tell you, I checked the statistic just 2 days ago. I found out that the highest praying country in the world is Afghanistan. Afghanistan is the highest praying country in the world. Then Nigeria is the second highest praying country in the world. And that means about 98 to 97% of Nigerians are praying every single day. But let me shock you again. Nigeria is one of the most poorest country, if not the poorest, and one of the most corrupt country, if not the most corrupt in the world, behind Afghanistan. Now, I come to see by my statistics that the highest praying countries in the world are the most corrupt countries in the world. And then this gives me the leverage to say that the world doesn't need your prayer. This world, as we live in, doesn't need your prayer to succeed. Okay? Because the less praying countries are the most successful countries in terms of economy and in terms of development. Look at China. Statistics show that only 1% of China is praying. But look at Chinese. China has the second largest economy in the world, behind America. So what would you say of that? 1% of Chinese are praying. But look at us now. About 98 to 99% of Nigerians and Afghanistans are praying. But look at Afghanistan. It's in shambles. You cannot do any business in Afghanistan. It's war, terrorism, and corruption every day, shredded by religion and all manner of things. And you can't say you can't say same of America. You can't say same of China. Look at the UK. Only 6% of UK is praying. But look at UK. In terms of economy, in terms of development, they're going forward. But look at Nigeria. Every corner you see churches. Every day people are praying. You go around churches in the morning, they're praying. The night, they're praying, and check them. We are the poorest in the world, and we are the most corrupt country on the earth. Then what are you going to say about all the prayers? It points you to a fact that the prayers are just a waste of time and energy of the people. But because poverty is on the high, people want to succeed, and that the churches promise them a prosperity that can never come or will never come. People rush to wherever they see signs and wonders. Just 3 days ago, a crusade was held in a city called Enugu, or a state called Enugu in Nigeria. Over 1 million people or so attended the program. What? In the name of signs and wonders. And the country has been protesting for a good governance, for an electoral bill to be passed so that the people can vote for their leadership and see their vote count. Only few persons came. I saw only one pastor, as long as I am concerned, that attended that protest. But people are attending prayer crusade and prayer conferences, over 1 million persons, while the protest is going on. But listen to me. If that bill is passed in favor of the protesters, the country will be better. We have good governance. And once a government is better, it reduces the prayer force. Okay? Because most of the things that people are praying in this country, Nigeria, if they travel to other countries, they don't pray those prayers because what? The government has been able to provide those things that they are praying for in this country. So the things that they are praying for, calling God and disturbing God night and day, are the things that a government could provide. That shows the emptiness and the hypocrisy of Christians and pastors in this country. You are praying for good roads. You are praying for good governance. Then you go to places like America, UK, and China. We have good governance. So if you go to a place like that, will you waste your time praying for good governance? Will you waste your time praying for water or for peace or for security? No, because security has been provided by the government. Food have been provided by the government. There is an enabled environment for everybody to work. Visa is accessible. Why? Because there is a living and working government. But in this country, government is dead. People are not working. There's no economy is not booming because of the corruption. Money have been looted on billions in every day by people in authority. So when the people has become hopeless, they don't know what to do. They resort to praying and disturbing God in the name of prayer and name of religion. All this happen because we have a dead government, a dead economy. So the day our government and our leaders begin to function, the rate of church opening and rate of prayer will reduce, because the hours you used to go and pray in the church, you use those hours to go and work in a firm or in a company. So ladies and gentlemen, why there are rapid growth of churches and opening is not because they love souls, but because they want to generate funds for themselves. That is why we are the highest praying country, or the second highest praying country in the world, yet we are the most corrupt country on the earth. Now, Nigeria is over 250 million persons, but let me tell you, we cannot boast of 50 million persons that are saved. We cannot boast of 50 million people that are saved. No. You only see them going to churches, not because they need God, not because they need Christ, but because the pastors promise them that what if they come, they shall prosper. And because the economy is bad, there is poverty everywhere in the country. People resort to going to attend those churches to try if their life could be better. But no life is better. The more they pray, the more they attend churches, it is only the pastors that are getting better. Have you asked yourself why? Okay? Do you have any billionaire? But you have millionaires of pastors at the end of the day, because the members keep giving to them to fund themselves. Listen to me. The rise of churches in this country is not because they love soul, but because they love money. Money has become the major factor in Christianity and in churches today in Nigeria. And this is an awareness I want to create. So be wise. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.